Coaches, welcome to Championship Culture. Got a fantastic guest for you tonight. Wilbur Pender is the head football coach at Vance County High School in North Carolina. He just completed his first season there and had a pretty dang good season. Had a winning record and had a couple firsts for the county and for the school. And Wilbur actually played for me back in the day, a long time ago when we were both younger and had more hair. And before Wilbur became a coach, a head coach, he was a highly respected defensive coordinator in both North Carolina and South Carolina. And buddy, it's good to see you, and it's good to have you on the podcast, man.
I appreciate you having me on, Coach. You know, it's always great whenever the old guy reaches out to me.
Well, thanks for making me the old guy. I used to be I was a young guy when I coached you.
It was fun too.
I wanted to, you had a couple big firsts, so I wanted you to brag about that a little bit before we go into the 5 questions. Can you go ahead and just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, at Vance County High School, we're a 3A school. It was consolidated. It was originally Northern Vance and Southern Vance High School. Both teams had some success in the past. Southern Vance had a state championship appearance, and it's always been a place that's rich in athletes, and really good football has been played there. Well, this when they consolidated the schools, Vance County hadn't beat a 4A opponent since they were Vance Senior High. So this was the first year we beat a 4A opponent. We beat Riverside out of Durham, and we beat Northern Durham, which was actually the first time since Vance Senior High actually beat Northern Durham.
That's awesome, and especially Northern Durham. That's a big name in North Carolina as far as a rich tradition. So that's a big deal. It's always a big deal when you go up a classification and beat somebody.
Oh yeah.
We want to go ahead and jump into these questions. First one, can you give a 1-minute elevator introduction of yourself?
Yeah, man. I'm Wilbur Pender. I'm the coach at Vance County High School. I love what I do. I'm just, I'm in it to work and make the kids as young people, as good of people as, I possibly can. I had a lot of great mentors in life. Coach Salas for one of them, Coach Poolnot, Coach Lester Wilder, who passed on us this year. I want to have that impact on someone, that they can look back and say, man, Coach Pender really, help me get through this or whatnot and so on. So, I really love what I do. Coaching football is part of it. I'm a father of 3. My son is 12 in the 7th grade. And so you see the gray hairs, they ain't used to be here as much, Coach, but, I got some gray hairs growing in. My daughter's 5 and I got another daughter that's 2. And so, I'm sorry I was late, getting them 2 monsters in the bed is tough.
It's the daughters that are going to give you the gray hairs down the road, man.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to mention, when COVID first got started, we did a couple round tables and you came in and really did a great job at least one. I don't know. I can't remember if you were at one or both of them, but you really did a great job. So I know you're an up and comer and you do a great job of building the program. Obviously, just jumping out the gate and having a winning record the first year at Vance is just proof of that. But we want to jump into these questions. So number 2, what is your definition or how do you find culture in your program?
All right. So I guess overall, the definition of culture is, the system of beliefs and norms that, the group, it's what they're willing to abide by, for the betterment of each other. I think that's really big, that last part, the betterment of each other, because, in any sport, especially football, if you're not willing to do it for the person beside you, it's the wrong sport to be in. So, having that system in place where, most importantly, those kids, they know, hey, man, this is what we have to do, not because I want to do it right now, but because I know that's what I need to do right now. That lets you know what your team culture is. Like you said, being my second season as a head football coach, I'm still I'm still learning the ropes, in which I believe everyone really is in this whole thing, but especially navigating through a pandemic. But the culture that you set for a team is just, it's one of the biggest things, and also one of the biggest things that's usually overlooked in your first few years as coaching. And I was very conscientious of it. I got to I worked with Coach Lane in Clover, South Carolina, and he was huge on culture. He was a really big guy on teaching it, and it was really about just building belief. And I think if you have a really good culture in place, then you build that belief in your kids, and you make them know that, hey, no matter what the situation is, we always got a shot.
Great job, man. All right, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. And these are this is where coaches kind of listen to this and steal your ideas. So what are the three best things you do to build culture in your program?
All right. My number one thing is I model it. If I'm not showing it, then I can't say it. You know how teenagers are. They believe 90% of what you do and only 10% of what you say, so that's really the biggest thing for me. I'm always looking for ways to better myself and to always better the way that I build the culture of Vance County High School, And I'll be honest with you, going into Vance County, it's not really known for having a great culture, a very disciplined team. So I kind of knew what I was getting into through my research. So culture was number one on my to-do list for being conscientious and going forward with it. So the number one thing I wanted to do was model it. The second thing was just, I had to set the standard. And like you said, it was my first year there. A lot of kids, and I don't know if people really realize this, but in North Carolina, we played in the spring. So, I ain't making no excuses or anything, but we played 2 football seasons in 1 calendar year. So a lot of the kids we had, man, they had a hard time transitioning from the previous coach from the spring that ended 4 months before the season, and transitioning to a new coach that was, different from what they were used to. But, at the end of the day, when you set the standard, it's on you as a coach to hold that line and to really make sure that your coaches are doing the same thing. So when I say I set the expectation, I know you do a great job of it. You got a word of the day, man. So I kind of stole that idea, but I did it as a word of the week. So I got the book from Kenny Simpson called The Team Themes. I don't know if you purchased that or not, but I got it. And, I really just went through it with our guys. I just said, hey, this is the word of the week. We had a circle meeting every Friday pregame. 3 random kids and a coach that I would pick. And they all just told their story. What makes you tick is what I always ask them. Hey, what makes you go? What's your reason why? And in that circle meeting, I've been a part of circle meetings where, we've had kids that talked about, how horrible their home life is and, why they really, come together. And all of that is building that culture. It's that family culture where everyone trusts each other. And, in a pregame meal, you think about it, everybody just goofy, going around, and then they're getting focused in on the game. You going through your roll call, you checking your special teams, your offense, your defense, and it can get put off to the side, but it's important to take that time and really show them in that time period that, hey, this is the most important part of the aspect of football, building a family. And so that was one big thing that I really focused on. And obviously it was one of our 5 pillars that we have built our program, that we're starting to build our program on. So, that circle meeting was a huge thing for us as far as building our culture. I guess the third thing that I did was, like I mentioned, every coach has, or every good program has, some form of a saying or something, where, they want the kids to memorize it and everything. Well, I kind of stole ours from Coach Lane down in Clover. And, it was where, hey, you had you had to earn your decal on your helmet. So if you was in a game and your helmet was, bare butt naked, and grandma came up, was like, you played great, why ain't your helmet the same as everyone? And I just say, hey, tell me your 5. And then they be like, oh, that's why my helmet ain't here. But, a lot of times every kid really bought into that, and they really loved it. They were like, man, they kind of jumped in. They made a freestyle out of it. They made, how kids are nowadays, man. So anything, and, you can pick, I think I had the basic 5, energy, toughness, discipline, family, commitment. Those were our 5 things. And, that's not say a word, but those are our 5 things that, we're going to always build on. And so that was another thing that helped build our team culture. So, that was a big thing and it helped with the expectation of showing that, hey, everything is earned. So I didn't just give them their helmet decal because they showed up. They had to earn it. And some of them, waited till, the 12th hour, and they didn't get it until the Thursday before the first game. So, it was fun, especially being able to pick on those kids and be like, yeah, I knew you weren't going to make the play your helmet naked, so it's just fun with that, but all of those things tie back into, building that culture around, hey, what's our core values? What are we willing to do for each other to show that we trust each other?
Fantastic, man. Let me ask you a couple questions on it. On your circle meeting, you do that pregame on Friday, and you said 3 players and 1 coach. And I guess,
yes, sir,
they're all gonna, how does that work? Tell me a little bit about that, because that sounds fantastic.
All right. So in our circle meeting on Thursday after the walkthrough, every kid in the walkthrough is always trying to figure out who name am I writing down, or, this or that and stuff. And I just pick kids at random. I always pick, every week I pick at least 2 seniors until we run out. And then I pick 1 underclassman. That way every senior gets a chance to speak. And then, once all the seniors go through, it's really fun to get the underclassmen to go, because now some of them get to go multiple times throughout their career. But all they do, it's like a kind of like how you said, it's a 1-minute elevator introduction. And essentially, I make them tell us, hey, I want to know your full government name, first, middle, last, any suffix, whatever it is. I want to know it all. And, you tell us, hey, man, what makes you tick? Football is the only sport that you practice more than you play. So why do you keep coming back? What's bringing you back to this game that's so brutal on you, and even rougher on your mentals, So why do you keep coming back? What's the love that you have? What do you, when times get tough, what is it that you look to? What gets you through it? And, a lot of those kids, man, you'll be surprised at what you hear from some of your players. I'll put it at that. Now one big thing that I always do, and this is an every week thing, we always say, hey, this is our family. What we say in a circle meeting stays in a circle meeting. Is the reason why it's a circle and not a square, So, every single kid knows that, what they say is going to stay with between all of us. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest component in getting your kids to opening up and really building that trust, not just with you as a coach, but also with each other on the team. I really like hearing my assistant coach's story, because you interview them, and you get all the glitz, the grammar, everything they do well. You get your basic your good answers and everything, but man, it's different when they get up in front of the kids and they got to tell what makes them tick, man. It's really, really fun, and it's really something that, I personally really enjoy every week.
Yeah, I'm stealing that, man. That I've always been, and we used to do it for senior night, but I always, when they start telling their story, there's nothing like someone telling their story to bond everyone together. And especially if you get teary-eyed, man. I mean, it's on that. I love it. I'm gonna steal that one. And then when you earn it, you said, tell us your 5. All right, what are they having to tell you? Are they having to tell you the 5 core principles, 5 core
Yep.
principles and a definition? Are they having to show it? What are they having to do to get that helmet decal?
So each finger obviously goes with a pillar. Energy, first and foremost, the motion, you stir the pot. So you bring the energy every day that you come. That's our number one principle, no matter where we're at. So you got to bring the energy. Then toughness is that old school pointing from me to you thing. I'm gonna be tougher than the person across from me. Discipline, we tap our middle finger. Discipline, because this is the one that even growing up, it gets you in trouble the most. Family, because once you put a ring on this finger here, that means you're committed to that family. And then the pinky is our commitment finger, because back in the day, you used to make a pinky promise and you wouldn't break it. So we tied it all together to something that really means something to us, and it kind of makes it easy for the kids to remember them, but it also has a really strong meaning behind what it is too.
Love it, man. Love it. All right. So let's go to the number 4. You're still a young guy, but we're going to ask this question because you've done a great job in your career. You're highly respected as a D coordinator, now 2 years in as a head coach. And obviously just from this little bit of talk, you're doing things the right way. So this is probably fresh on your mind. What do you know now that you wish you knew when you first got started?
Number one is the loudest coach is rarely the best. So the my biggest thing is, I wish, because I was being young, I was in that same category. I thought, hey, on Fridays, we here, let's put on the show, let's do this, let's do that. But man, the best coaches got to happen Monday to Thursday. And so, usually those loud coaches on Friday, they didn't do their job Monday through Thursday. So that's something that I really pride myself on, and I try to instill it in my assistant coaches as well. So it's like, hey, on Friday, it ain't about creating chaos and all this screaming and stuff on the sideline. It's about coaching up what you've been teaching all week. And if you ain't been teaching, then of course you're gonna be yelling during the play because they don't know what to do. So that's one of the biggest things, man. Just a lot of people from the stands that look at it, man, he's coaching his tail off. He's yelling at this and that. But nah, if he was coaching his tail off, he wouldn't have to be yelling instructions during the game, during the play, So number one is the loudest coach is rarely the best. That's something, I wish I knew. And, and that really speaks to the work ethic of coaches as well. The second thing is really the importance of culture. Culture can win game. Culture will win close games more so than athleticism will. Like, yes, a very athletic team can get by and win, but in a close game, the team with the best culture is going to win. We came out on top of, I want to say it was, I know we won one game by 1 point this year. And, that may have been the most fun that, I've ever had, and the most stressful and the most fun that I've ever had coaching a football game. But, it really showed our togetherness because, on that last drive, a lot of times, the players on the sideline, they're cheering on their teammates. That's part of your team culture. But the way the offense was cheering the defense on as they were closing out the game, I mean, it's something that I've never seen happen before, especially, at a place like, I was at Northern Vance for a while. It never happened there. A lot of those kids they be pouting if they were on the sideline. Man, I ought to be playing. But man, those guys, they really bought into doing their role, and they cheered their guys on. And I believe the sideline was the biggest reason we won that game by 1 point. So yeah, culture wins close games. And I guess another thing that's big for me, and obviously everyone is adapting, but nothing is set in stone. Embrace the change and challenge satisfaction. That's a big thing, man. I read that somewhere. I don't remember where I read it at, but embrace change and challenge satisfaction. Change is going to happen. So you got to be willing to either one, get out the way, or two, roll with the punches. So when that change happens, you just got to be able to either roll with it or you're going to get rolled over by it. So, you know, embrace that change and also challenge the satisfaction. You know, a lot of times, you know, people would always say to me, especially this season, they'd be like, oh man, it was, you were hired late, you know, this and that. And I was like, man, I don't make excuses, man. I'm glad we won, but we got a lot of improvements to make. So, you know, don't accept the result because it was a good result. And that's something that my younger self used to do. I used to be like, man, we won, man. I'm glad about that. Let's get on to the next one. But now I look at a win almost to find more areas to critique than I do in a loss, because in a loss, no one feels worse than the kids that played the game. You know, I know we feel bad as coaches because we want to win every game, you know, but the kids that played the game and they really sold out for it, man, those are the ones that feel horrible about the loss. So, you know, I look for improvements there, but really in the games that we won, I'll find a lot more areas for improvement, because I don't want any of the players to ever think that, hey, we won, that's good enough. You know, at some point in time, you know, you want to build a program where, yeah, winning is great, but, you know, it's about, you know, going on and how much you want to win by is essentially what it is. And that comes with the culture. That comes with installing that into the kids. So that's another thing I really wish I could really tell my younger self, which, you know, like you said, I mean, I'm 34 right now, so I'm still learning a lot of things as I'm going through. You know, I'm not quite building the plane as I'm flying, but it's still some parts that's missing that I need to put on it. So, you know how that goes, Coach.
That never stops, man. All right, you did fantastic, man. Can you share your contact information? You're on Twitter, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and share your Twitter handle, and we'll put that on the show notes.
Yeah, it's at Coach_Pender. It's P as in Paul, EN, D as in dog, ER.
All right. And do you have anything to promote, or just the last word?
I'm right now, Coach, man, I'm just trying to decompress and still, you know, move forward in the same direction. So I'm just reading a few things, but, you know, nothing important, mostly just for leisure. You know, I've been following your channel, trying to figure out, hey, how can I score 80 something points in a game? So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out those things there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. You did fantastic, and great to see you again. This thing will come on Saturday on YouTube and the podcast. But you did
okay.
Great. Appreciate you doing
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, man.